And yes, so this is our first class for and let me share the screen as well. Let me know once you are able to see my screen. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so what we are going to cover, so let me explain you everybody, so that we all will be onto the same page. So I hope you already know what is AWS. So this is not the class where we will discuss about what is AWS. Okay, here we will discuss more onto the more about the AWS. Okay, migration, that we will cover up here. Now, what is migration and why it is required? So let's discuss about that. If some companies, for example, any enterprise you are talking about, any, okay, so those enterprise, when AWS is going to them, or Azure, or Google Cloud, IBM Cloud, anybody who is going to these companies. Now companies, for example, Citibank, Bharat Petroleum, okay, any financial, JP Morgan, okay, talk about any gas industries, automobile industries, Daimler, like Mercedes parent company, General Motors. When they are going to these companies, they already have their own data centers. Okay, so for example, this is the Citibank. So Citibank has their all the application. Citibank has their, for example, net banking application is running here. Okay, they have, good morning, good morning. So net banking, this is their banking application, investor application, and same way they have the hundred of more application in the bank. Okay, now their major concern is how these application, okay, will move to other side. Now it is not only about the application. For example, this application has database, they are using Oracle. Okay, this application, for example, has same database. For example, this also connected with the Oracle database, but application 3, it is onto the different database. So it has, for example, MySQL, like this. Okay, and these application has different storages are there, like they have the data of, for example, 8 terabyte. Now this much data it is there of all the users. How this data of banking data they want to transfer from here to AWS. So now this is your, for example, Citibank, and this is your AWS. Now when it is talk about the AWS, how you move this 8 terabyte data here. Okay, so this is the questions, and this is how you have to learn how you have to migrate from one location, like client location, to cloud. Or might be Citibank is running on Azure. Okay, might be it is a Microsoft Cloud Azure. or it is Google Cloud. So from Google Cloud to AWS, okay, from any company's data center to AWS, those things you will learn here. So how that this application will move here, how the database will be moved from here, how the application completely will move here. Now before moving, so what the things you have to think about, okay, you have to think, will this able to move there, okay, what the things you have what the parameters comes in your mind, what the different steps are required, why this application will not migrate onto the cloud, due to which reasons it uh, due to which reason it will not migrate. Okay, so what are the strategies you will use? So we will learn during this course. We will talk about application migration, we will talk about complete VM migration, data migration, database migration, and even containers as well in the last. Okay, any question till now? Okay, so in the first class, and this is the module 1, so we will talk about the introduction of cloud migration. Second chapter is our database data migration, third is application migration, fourth database migration, and fifth is monolithic application migration to cloud. When it's talking about monolithic application, so it is you will migrate into the containers and containers to AWS. Okay, so why cloud migration? So why people wants to move on to the cloud migration? The first, infrastructure speed. Let's take it more interactive. So think about any company, why they want to move on to the cloud. What do you think, why they need to move on the cloud? Anybody? Costing, yes, it is the one of the thing. Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the major thing is, for example, their application scalability. Now let's talk about same application. Okay, here, for example, they have a, this is the hotel reservation slash flight reservation application. Okay, many banks have their own website or own app for this. Now this application is built, for example, let's take the example of this application. They have tested onto the 20,000 connections. So okay, so 20,000 connections per second. Okay, per second. Now suddenly this request, and their website is very popular and they are giving some discounts on the bank website. Okay, the traffic increased to 30,000. Now either this site will crash, okay, or performance will be very low. In such cases, what will happen? Scalability. So this application in the background, it will not scalable more than this. Now what is the benefit of the cloud? If it is on the cloud, there is an option of auto scaling. So the system will automatically scaled if it is onto the cloud. Okay, that is the first option. Traffic spikes suddenly and inability of scale server resources. In your company, you have to buy the servers, definitely, and then you have to move into the data center, then more from data center to place on racks, then provide the cables, powers. A lot of task is there before actual scale you have to do. This scaling generally take, if it is your company is very good and very fast, then also it will take 3 to 5 months to add the servers into your data center. That is happening because firstly, now you have to understand, when you are into the cloud or when you are into the data center, there is a lot of difference will come. You have to tell your company 3 months back, okay, I need 6 months back, 3 months back, yes, I need 5 more systems. But on the cloud, you can decide at any time. They will provide you the any new system, the scaling, auto scaling, it can be happen at any time whenever you require it. Okay. Second is the requirement of data storage. Now this 8 terabyte, they have the requirement of internal data storage. So for example, this is keep on increasing to 40, might be 100 terabyte. This 100 terabyte data, it is not only the data which application is connected, there is a backup also required of this data. For example, this is the data. So application, when it is taking the backup, again you have to store it somewhere. This is the backup. Let's see. This is the backup. Now from here, the backup will be stored here. So you need a lot of data storage in the company, which slowly every company wants to come out from these things, because a couple of companies face this problem when they restore their older data didn't restore properly, because the restoration is generally not happening very quickly. So like frequently it is not happening. They want the more and more data is coming, like every company has more and more data, day by day it is coming, even it is finance companies, media company, or any other. To avoid such problems like more data, so they want to move on to the cloud. Some companies I have seen, they are only move their data to the cloud. So they have every application onto their on-prem and only move just their data. For example, this 100 terabyte which is running here, it will copy here, and this application talk to directly here like this. But we will talk about that, how it's possible. So these application will talk to here, okay, cloud, and cloud has that 100 terabyte, and definitely these application will not come to know where is it is pointing to. It's pointing to AWS or some other location. It looks like local only. Okay. Then sudden demand for operation. So there is sometimes sudden demand is increased into the operations. Okay. So sudden demand, like I told you, there is, for example, application team is saying to you, okay, this year we have the plan, or there is a media company who is saying, okay, big news came. For example, there is some celebrity news or some politician news is there, and suddenly a lot of traffic will increase. Okay, so you need more and more servers to manage that. Or think about the cricket website. If there is a cricket website, okay, where you can go and check the scores, and same time sudden match came. Okay, actually match is very much planned, but for example, there is a sudden demand increased. In those cases, they are moving or migrating to cloud rather than creating inside their, okay, company. Next is geographical distribution challenge. Why we are thinking about geographical is a distribution means is a challenge. One of the biggest thing is about the contents. YouTube. Okay, when you open a YouTube video, for example, you are open in India, one person is open in US, one person in UK, The global distribution is such a way you all will not face the latency there. So they manage this way. Same way when your application on AWS. Now Citibank doesn't know कि his user is joined from which place. Okay, so Citibank is talk about कि, okay, my application is running here. If it is in US, definitely it will take some time to reach here. For example, this person in Australia, there is another person, it is in US. Okay, now one person in India. So if all will come to the same website, for example this hotel reservation itself, it will take time. If this particular website is running in US, Australia person definitely face the latency there. How the application or data will be globally available so that nobody will face any latency to reach here, that is called the latency. For example, this person will take 4 milliseconds, and in US it is taking just 1 millisecond to reach here. To make everywhere same latency, there AWS has a very good features like CDN network in the background. Okay, so that's the reason many companies want to move on cloud. Second, AWS has already their availability into multiple data centers. Like multiple data center means multiple regions, you can say. It is available in Australia as well, India as well, Middle East as well, Africa as well, US, Europe, everywhere it is. For example, your website is global website, okay, where everybody is coming. Like I gave you the example of YouTube. So same way, if your application is also available in multiple location, okay, like Amazon, okay, in those cases as well, your application, if it is multiple location, you no need to build a data center in every country. So AWS is already there, so you can use the AWS and build your application on top of AWS. Okay, second, high cost involved. Now I am not saying here high cost means cloud is cheaper. No, this statement is no longer valid actually in my sense. It is not only to immediately giving you the relax or onto the saving, a lot of saving. No, it will save your money in many other terms. For example, okay, for example, so if you're moving on to the AWS, if you feel it is easy, or sorry, it is cost effective, it is not that much. How the cost will be saved? So based on the when you move on to the cloud, so many cost will be it's not involved in future. For example, you don't need the electricity bill, you don't have any space like where you already you have the data center, that rent you not required. Your network cost, okay, to manage the network devices, it is cost is, so many other factors are also there. Now major is, for example, your application is going to start in multiple countries, you no need to build a data small data centers everywhere, buy the hardware and start this one. So huge cost will be involved if you, for example, build your application into the multiple data centers like this. Okay, so huge cost, so that cost you can immediately save from the AWS because they already have the availability in those regions. Okay, now any doubt on this? Anyone? Any question? Okay. Yes, I totally agree with you. So it will, over the years, it will more costly, but a lot of other benefits you will get. The one of the major benefit every company, when AWS is going or Microsoft is going or IBM is going, they are saying you can focus on your own business, or rather than focus on the technology, rather than focus on to the data center daily operations. They are saying, okay, you focus just on your business, I will take care of your technology or IT. Now you move onto the AWS, many things you don't require. For example, one of the example is if you are moving your database MySQL to RDS SQL. Now RDS, you no need to do like installation, high availability, replication. No operations are required. It is by default. When you create this one automatically, if it is the high availability, you can build up, and the synchronization, like one is active and second is standby, automatically configured. You no need to do anything. So such places you no need that many resources to manage your database, because AWS is taking care of that. Okay, Bala, you want to say something? Well, I'm not able to hear you, but a lot of noise is coming, but I'm not able to hear you. I think there is some problem in your mic. No voice is coming. It's looked like you are into the aeroplane. No. Anyone else can hear, because I'm not able to. Y- Yeah, Bala. No. Yes, I think there is a mic issue, Bala. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So today we will go slow, and our the first thing is the assessment which we will do it. That is might be the later. So today my focus is totally you can understand why migration, okay, and what the components involved, how the companies are getting the benefit. Okay, so we'll in details we will talk about that today. Okay, so what is the migration? Cloud migration is the process of moving application, databases, and other business elements from on-prem to cloud. So, which I already we discussed. So, if you move your application, your VM, your data, your database to move on to the cloud, that process is called the migration. So, anytime have you did data migration? Anybody who did the data migration? Everybody, I think you all did data migration. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Sanjeev. Okay, good. So when you're moving your, for example, on your laptop, some data is there, and you're moving to your USB disk, or you're moving to the S3 or Google Drive, that is all called the database migration. Okay, so it depends upon, you already did the data migration. So when you think about my laptop is out going out of space, what you generally did, so you move your some of your data, might be movies, songs, your pictures, or some documentation, or you move on to the some other location, right? That other location is sometimes, or most of the time, is your either your Google Drive or your USB drive. Okay, it depends upon that which one you want to accessible routinely and which you don't want to access immediately. Okay, so based on that you decide and move your things, right? Same way in the cloud migration as well we will talk about. So what is the benefit? You will get it scalability and dynamic consumption. Now First example, let's take a scalability, how the scalability journey works. This application which we talk about when it is coming onto the, for example, AWS. Now the how the scalability, now all the requests will come to the load balancer. Okay, from load balancer this application is moved to the for example this. So application is running here. When the application is running, so this is the same app. Now all the requests from the load balancer is coming here. So when number of requests suddenly increased, so automatically this application will also increase based on the auto scaling feature of the cloud. So you can add more. So based on the new yes, so you are using the cloud. Now this application is called the cloud native application. It will use the cloud features when it moved here. Now when you don't require this one, if you delete it, it will immediately delete here. When you want to add it, you can just auto scale it and it will add under the load balancer. That is the benefit of your the first option is about your scaling and dynamic consumption. So whenever required, it will add. When it is not required, it will definitely scale in again happen. Okay, reduce expenditure and support. So here you are using pay per use. Now the pay per use, many companies is getting the benefit. For example, if you have the, you don't know this application when you need more, okay. Now when you you don't know, so when you already have to buy the hardware, even you don't know when the traffic will increase, but you should have the hardware. Let's take the example of this cricket website, Cricinfo. Yesterday night there was a match like IPL is going on. When the IPL is there, more and more people is joining or watching the match. Okay, when they are watching the match, they need more servers. Now let's take the example. Here the same application is running. The application name is Cricinfo, this website. Now when you log into here, let me show you once, cricinfo.com. Just see here. So yesterday there was match was going on, and during that 4 hours a lot of people came online and watched the scores. But after the match they don't need those many systems. For example, during the match 10 million people came onto their website, but after the match that 10 million might be reduced to the half of the million, because others will not be there on the website because match is over. On those cases you are just pay per use. Okay, for example, you are using these 3 machines only when it was match was going on. When it is not going, you are deleting that. Let me delete like this. Okay, now it is deleted. You are not paying for the instances which are not running right now. Okay, so only you use for 4 hours. Now 4 hours you paid. That is the benefit of the pay per use. Okay, some of the particular application, for example data warehouse, There you only use, you build the data warehouse when you require it, and how many hours you will use, you are charged based on that. Same way storage. So you will get the benefit. You no need to pay in advance and then buy the hardware and use it, and then might be you will not use it. Okay, so that's the way you can save your cost. Second is, third is DR and business continuity. Somebody can tell me why DR is required? Anybody? Anybody try? What is DR and why it is required? Or what is business? Yeah. Yes. Why it is required? Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, it's kind of replica. So generally DR works with this way. You heard about couple of years back there is a tsunami came in Japan, right? In many countries actually it came, and major impact on Japan as well. But their technology, their banking system, okay, it was not impacted. Same way, when I was, you are talking about, let me show you. If you go to this website, Yahoo dot, sorry, not JP. This is the Japanese website, okay, Yahoo. When the tsunami came, definitely there all the data centers was not working, but this website was still working. Okay, their data center, Japanese data center was full of water. Okay, but this website was not impacted because Yahoo has DR setup in Singapore for Japan. So what they did, all the traffic, for example, this is the Japan Yahoo data center. So all the requests from Japan, it will go here. Now due to tsunami, okay, so all this traffic which is coming here, it moved to Singapore Yahoo data center. So this traffic is moved from here to here automatically. Now user will never come to know, okay, where my traffic is going. They thought about, okay, they are reaching to their website itself, but how they moved it. So in there is always a, just for the high level understanding, okay, for example in future this can be an interview question. This is like, or even in if it is on AWS, it is called the, let's take about Route 53. This is your Route 53. Here they just change, rather than move here, they moved all the data traffic here. Okay, this is very easily you can achieve with the Route 53. Okay, active passive, that thing you can manage in Route 53. So same way they did for the DR. If you are right now on AWS, this is running, for example, it is not Yahoo data center, it is, just think about Japan AWS data center, and the site is same, yahoo.jp. But this time here it will automatically move, this is AWS data center and the yahoo.jp website. So in case of disaster, the traffic move from here to Singapore. Otherwise, in the normal scenario, it will go here only, but in this scenario, it will move from here to this side. Clear, everybody? Okay. Easy access to newer technologies. Now, this is very important actually. Now, in your bank, they are not a technology company. They are not building a new solution onto the machine learning, artificial intelligence, data warehousing, or like new services where document or any other service. But AWS is a technology company. If your application is running or your data is running onto the cloud, you can get the benefit of new services. For example, they have started the data analytics, new service they have started. You can't build all the services in your data center. So what you have to do, either you will procure or you will buy a new service in your data center and use it. Second option is, if you are already on AWS, you just use their one more service which is newly launched, and it is, for example, it is very much required to you. You can use it. For example, some companies are moving on to the blockchain, IoT. So IoT solution is already available on AWS, right? So you don't need to build it from the scratch. Everything is already available. You just to attach your application to that particular new service. Same with data analytics. So you will get the advantage of new technology if you are on to the cloud. Business agility. So that is very important, because based on the business, you keep on adding the systems, or is the all the agile way. Okay, this much finish, I need these many things into the next one quarter or next sprint. So that the business agility you will talk about. Increase security. So in AWS, day by day, they are increasing their security more and more, and they are giving you more and more features. So when they started AWS, see here, when they started console dot, they have the very few features onto the security under their security parameter. But now they have a lot of more features came day by day to add more and more security features for your application. You have to just consume it, okay, or you have to pay only for that particular service which you are going to use. See here, if you click on the services, come down, see here, security, identity, compliance. So Cognito, guard duty, inspector, many other services you can see here. Security hub, artifact detective, audit manager, signer, network firewall, so application firewall, shield. Okay, so these all you can use. Okay, and they are definitely working on more and more secure your environment. You have to just use this application to make your application more and more secure. Then geographic diversity, which we talk about. If any application is running into the multiple countries, so how it is accessible from the multiple locations of the different geographical things. Okay, so it will be because it has the multiple countries, AWS is available in multiple regions, it is sync their data also into the in the background. Okay, now hope so you understand why we need the cloud. Okay, cloud migration, why it is required, what is the benefit, and now we will talk about some case studies. Okay, what is the benefit they got it during like Coca-Cola. There is many others are there, but some case studies you can take it. Okay, Coca-Cola migrates to AWS to achieve 40% operational savings. It's a huge, when you're saying 40% they had saved. Okay, let me show you the case study so you can read. And this is one of the study. But if you click on AWS migration case study, so these are their clients talk about. So here you can mention about which particular technical use case. Let me show you the migration and transfer. Okay, so here you can see a lot of companies who is migrated to AWS and what the benefit they got it. Okay, use case, let's see, data center migration. Now these all companies tell about what the benefit they got it when they move to the onto the cloud. Indonesia, Vietnam, this is the Brazil company, manufacturing company in United States, HSBC Bank, Autodesk, it is in US. So these are the latest. So in all 2020 21, Autodesk is one of the big company. So this is the reduce the cost. So they told about what the benefit they got it. Okay, about the Autodesk. So you can see all the clients they gave the success story. High level success stories are here. Okay, now let's talk about Amazon about Coca-Cola. So they also mentioned what the challenges was there and why AWS they choose and what's the benefit they got from the AWS. Same way, let's talk about the Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has a their event. This video also you can go through. This is 2014. It is little old, but still it's a event during the one of I think in US when they released this one. So it's a 40-minute. Okay, they have the story on that. They completely mention what they did during that. So they have the 500 total brands are there in 207 countries. Coca-Cola. Okay, so they have a lot of problems when they are moving advertisement and other things. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so what the things it has a 500 brands, 207 countries. So what the challenges they are facing by the Coca-Cola, and they need the improvement on those areas. So they need multiple brands they have, but costing was same. Okay, auto scaling they want to do. Okay, they want to need the full visibility of their environment, what's going on. Okay, where what has the problem, where it is not working. They need very much secure environment so that only particular person, like if it is a multiple brands, 200 brands are there, one brand can't be access others data. Okay, DevOps model they need to add the new platform. Some people are good in Ruby, Python, Tomcat, they want to add it. So every time they have to learn, their team has to build up the capabilities and then they are doing that. Then metered bill. Now the biggest problem was coming for the Coca-Cola, the billing problem. 200 brands, so one brand is definitely is more spending the money, one brand is spending less, but the cost is similar. They are not detecting the cost from that particular brand because they were not aware who is using how much. So they use the meter billing for each brand, and more important is zero downtime. It was required in Coca-Cola. So what's the different challenges they faced? So they need the handle unpredictable traffic. Means when their brands launched, so they don't know how much traffic it will come. So they don't know the predictable traffic means how much traffic will come. For that they use the elastic beanstalk for that application. So if traffic is unpredictable, if more traffic is coming, beanstalk will handle that traffic. It will keep on increasing in the background, lower the cost. So their data cost was keep on increasing because they have a lot of data. Okay, so they use the S3 buckets to move all the data on S3 and save a lot of cost. Access to more platforms. Sometimes you need more and more platforms, like one application is running in Python, another application is running on Ruby. Like Flipkart is completely on Ruby on the front end, everything. Many companies are using Ruby Rails. Some companies everything making into the Java. Some are in Python. So multiple platforms needs sometimes different. Multiple application need the different platforms in the background. So for that also they use the Elastic Beanstalk. Agents visibility into the environment. So which particular brand they need to know how much resources it will use. So they need all that visibility. So they use the Elastic Beanstalk. Ops visibility into the environment. For example, they need all the logs. It is moved somewhere. So these logs will generally, Splunk is not the AWS tool. Splunk is a log management tool from another company, but the solution is available in AWS as well. Okay, so metered billing. So you will create a multiple AWS account, and each account you will get multiple bills, right? For example, you are getting a separate bill, I'm getting a separate bill. Okay, that is two different accounts, and these two different accounts can be under one root, that is called the AWS organization these days. So under one Coca-Cola organization there can be multiple accounts, and each account you will get the bill. Okay, who is spending how much. Secure isolated environment. So as we discussed, if you need a secure environment within a company, you will use the VPC. Okay, you will use the CloudFormation to build it. You use Splunk to move all the logs there. Zero downtime deployments. So it will use Elastic Beanstalk is a zero downtime deployment. When the new you are adding new features, new releases, so you don't need to down anything. And DevOps and agency accountability. So again, for any new deployment you are using the CloudFormation. So now many companies are using Terraform as well. So for example, in my company, and where we have the 150 AWS accounts, 150 AWS accounts from one company. Everything in the company deployed through the Terraform. Recently, in the last, if I get the time, I will show you. I built a Terraform where I will install my complete application onto the AWS through the Terraform. Why I use Terraform? Because I was keep on adding, keep on, whenever I required I will delete, and whenever I required I will add that my add my instance once again. So rather than keep it always and pay for that, I delete it, and Terraform is there. I will just add Terraform apply, it will create again everything. Okay, within seconds everything will be ready. Okay, so there is another study as well. GE Powers AWS adoption to monitor power plants and save its customers millions of dollars. Okay, so when they are going, for example, you are going to the client, and firstly you understand there what they are doing, where they are spending more money, then you can plan for the migration. For example, recently one of the person, he worked, so that person, for example, you are going, you will not go alone, even it is migration or discussion. They always has a big team who talk to the client and understand, because one person might be the database expert, one is the migration expert, one is database migration expert, one is data warehouse expert. So like multiple people will be involved in that. So GE Power requirement before AWS adoption. So GE is everybody I hope so aware of. GE's Power is a world energy leader that provide technology solution and service across the entire energy value chain from the point of generation to consumption. Okay, so GE Energy is very there are a lot of power plants are there, so it provide the energy to many countries. So they have the faster producers to fix the issues. Okay, they have the streaming 5 lakhs data records per second, because power is very crucial thing, and their equipments are generating a lot of data, every equipment, right? So if one equipment has some problem, it will generate a lot of alarms. So it has a lot of records per second, ingesting data from 20 billion sensor tags. Sensor tags are running all over their uh, power plants. So where it will keep on sensing with heat sensors, many other sensor who is going there, what the data is moving there. Okay, what the reading right now, what is the frequency. So 20 billion sensor tags are there. Now it's generating a lot of logs. Assess power plants to avoid the costly equipment failures. So if any equipment failure is there, how they will come to know? Monitoring. So all those things they did through the AWS solution. So what the solution they give? Now they have the major challenge is data, right? How the data means billion of devices, sensors, they will keep on generating the data. So AWS helped them to resolve their queries in weeks. So how they did? They use the Kinesis data streams. So Kinesis is one of their tool which they use, and Elastic Map reduce resolve data streaming requirements. So they want to stream the data, so they are giving the service like Kinesis. Now where it will store for analytics the data? Earlier they are storing on-prem, it was taking a huge cost for them to storing the data. So now here it is moved to the S3 standard storage. Now when it is moving to S3, okay, then again there is a different types of uh, different types of the disk are there in the background. Okay, which classes you will use? Standard, okay, you are the frequently access storage class. So depend upon that. AWS allowed customer to repair the catastrophic failures on the time and save millions of dollars immediately when there are any devices not functioning, because that sensor tags is keep on telling them. It is immediately on the real time, it will analyze the data and tell to the client, okay, your this device is not working. When they are coming, okay, this device is not working, I have to make it fix. So immediately if they fix it on time, there a lot of cost will be saved on that. Okay, to fix. Let me show you if it is there. Let me just wait a second, everybody. You can go to this link and see G Power. So same thing they have mentioned here. So AWS, which services they used: Kinesis data stream, S3, and Elastic Map reduce, and what's the benefit they got. Okay, more you want to know, you can read about these articles. Okay, so they have a lot of same way, a lot of customer uh, case studies are there which you can, that is really good in AWS. They have the really good uh, mm, means documentation is really good in AWS. Okay, now we will talk about the migration phases. So anybody has any question till now before we will start? Okay, so we will start with the migration phases. Now the thing is, now it is just a still strategy. So when you move to the migration, how the you will start the process? The first thing is always coming. Okay, so it will divide into two: pre-migration and post migration. Okay, then in between migration is there, third part. Okay, so crucial is pre-migration is very crucial. Why? Generally in the all the leaders are talking about spend more time into planning. Okay, if you spend enough time on the planning, your execution will take less time. If your planning is not correct, okay, you are not spending more time onto the planning, you are not discussing during the planning, definitely you will face the problem during the execution, like during the migration you will face. So first is pre-migration. So what you have to do, you have to do two things: assessment and check the readiness and planning. Now, what is the assessment? Assessment is same when you migrate. Okay, you are thinking about to migrate this net banking application onto the cloud, or any other application onto the cloud, any e-commerce application onto the cloud. Now you have to think about before that what I need on other side. Okay, so here we will talk about this our first, let me, yes, for example, this is your application is running. There is a web server, there is a application server, there is a database server. Now this is running inside the company. Okay, now what is the assessment? Assessment is, okay, if I move this particular system here, then how much CPU, how much memory I need it to run it here, how much disk I need it here. Okay, same way if you're moving to database here, which type of database I have to store it, means create onto the cloud. If this application app server, we have to move it here, how much CPU, memory, all these things are required. Now AWS made your life little easy with their tools. You no need to manually check. Earlier it was people are checking manually, each check the older data, monitoring data, then doing. No, right now it is changed. So they have their tools which help you to do all these things, and they will give you the assessment report. Okay, go take this report and tell to the client, yes, I need these things. When it is moving here onto the cloud, we will create these many instances there. Okay, now what is the migration phase? It is the phase of analyzing your on-prem infrastructure to perform the migration. Consider while performing assessment, what application do we have, which application to be migrated to the environment, people, process, technology. Okay, gap in existing setup, changes required for migration, post migration, and total cost of ownership. Now what is meaning of all this, why it is required? Let's see, you are there. Okay, just take a very basic example. You buy a new laptop today. Okay, let's take this example. Now the migration process you have to start. You have to migrate the application from your one laptop to another laptop, right? Now you have to think, what application do we have? It's the same thing you have to check. Okay, in my current laptop, I have these applications are there, right? So you have in your for let's take the example in my case. So you can see here, these many application is already there in my laptop. Okay, so you see here Microsoft Office I have. Okay, some of the Apple applications are there. Item, I have another one, Draw.io, Chef app, VirtualBox, Docker, Visual Code. Okay, I have the Google Sheet, Google Drive, PDF, go to NTFS. So many different applications I have. Okay, so same thing you have to think about during the migration. What application they have? Okay, so there is finance application, e-commerce application, like you have to also understand that. Now which application to be migrated to the cloud environment? Now think about which application in your laptop you want to move to another laptop, right? That is a migration. You and sometimes some application I don't need. So there is a Citrix one application is running. I don't require that on my new laptop. I will not migrate that application onto the cloud. Same way in your environment. So you will decide which application you will migrate on the cloud, which application will not migrate on the cloud. Okay, let's take as a very bad example. Okay, let's try this way. For example, one software, okay, you install on your current laptop, and that is a actually paid or licensed version, but you cracked it. You some website, you got the keys and you crack it, but you don't have the keys now. Okay, you forgot the keys, and it was running on Windows 7. Now you are moving on Windows 10, and this application will not work on Windows 10 because that older keys will only for Windows 7. Now you have to buy it. Now in that case, this application you can't migrate onto the cloud or on other system. Now you got your point. So in this system, one application is running. This application you doesn't this is supporting only, for example, Windows 7, and still license you have. Okay, that is working. Now on another laptop, if you move it, this application, for example, it is like XYZ something. Okay, some application it is there which you need. For example, you want to, if you move this application here, you need the license key. Okay, so what do you do? So you will not migrate this application here. You will keep it, might be the here only. What are the other application which you will might be move? For example, Office. I'm just taking the same example in my laptop, draw.io. So this application you will move it. Okay, so these application you will move it, but one application which has dependency on something, you will not move it. So same way you have to think during the migration as well into the companies. So which application can move, which application can't move. Then people, process and technology. This is very important. Why people is required? For example, I'm giving you the very so that you can relate with you. Okay, for example, this is the new laptop and this is the old laptop. Now let's take the example, this is Windows 7. Okay, now you bought a new Mac. This is the Mac laptop. Okay, Apple. Now this laptop was using by your younger sister or brother or mother or father. They were using it. Okay, now the same person, family was using this. Now the family members are not comfortable with the Mac. Okay, they don't know. Okay, it is very difficult for them to use it, right? So what generally you will do? If you buy a Mac laptop, and definitely you can't buy the 5 different laptops for all the family members. There is one. So what you will do? Somebody can tell me what generally you do? Am I audible? If you are you have a laptop Windows 7 and you are migrating, okay, to the Mac laptop, your all family is using earlier Windows 7, they don't know Mac. So what you will do? You will teach them. So same way, when you migrate your application to AWS, these teams, okay, in the company is not aware what is AWS, how AWS work, what are the new trainings you need. So that is the people, process and technology will come into the picture. Okay, when it is. And then last is total cost of ownership. Means when you are thinking about to buy a new laptop, you are thinking about how much cost it will come to me, right? That is the total cost of ownership. After migration, all the application, for example, few application you have Microsoft Office, might be you have to buy a new license for that. Okay, so might be some older license will not work, so that is your total cost. Okay, how much it will be. So based on that, you will decide in cloud as well. So we will talk about when we will migrate all, we will build a setup and migrate all these application onto the cloud, so that you can see how really it is happening. So what is the second phase? Readiness and planning. So where you will address all the gaps identified in assessment phase. Like in your laptop you face this problem. Okay, this particular application I can't migrate because of license issue. So here you, in this particular phase, readiness and planning, you will find what are the gaps are there, why this application can't be migrated there. So you identify that gaps and then address that. So build your baseline environment, technology and process. So you will create a baseline environment. For example, when you migrate onto the cloud, you are doing some POCs. I will show you into the next. So then you will give the training to the people, okay, who wants to support post migration. You are telling them, okay, you have to learn AWS, this is the topics, we will teach you these things, and then definitely they will ready for the next level. Then creating a strong migration plan, this is very important. So which application, strong migration plan based on these 7 R's. Okay, these are the very important interview question. What are the 7 R's? Use 7 R's migration strategy for each application. Okay, now you have the 100 application or 200 application, this strategy will be same for each application. Okay, so what is this 7R strategy, we will cover up next. Then identify the tools for migrating different application and components. So which tool you will use to migrate the application? There is a multiple tools are available on AWS that you will think in the readiness or in the planning phase. Okay, and last is evaluate direct connection options to AWS cloud to initial migration or ongoing operation. So if you want to start migration, then you need a connectivity between these two environment. Which two environment? In, for example, I take the example of Citibank and AWS. So these two data centers should have talked to each other like this. So they have a connectivity, direct connectivity between each other, so that they can transfer the data, transfer the all the application there and migrate. Okay, now what are the 7R strategies? We will talk about enough after the break. AJ, so can we take 10 minutes break here? Okay, so let's take a timer, 10 minutes. Okay, we'll start in 10 minutes. Thanks everyone.